Law Simplified with Justice is anchored by Justice Maduforo. Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. We are well equipped in our litigation and advocacy for the benefit of our clients, corporates, and individuals. Why not visit us at 5 Oakfield House, Oakfield Road, Ilford, London, IG1 1EF. We are just 15 minutes from Liverpool Street Station. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.
Hello, and welcome to Law Simplified with Justice. I remain your usual regular host, Justice Maduforo. Law Simplified with Justice brings the very best of legal topics, and I discuss this to enable you to kickstart your consciousness to law and to enable you to take action. Ladies and gentlemen, before I commence discussing today, as you usually know, I must give you a disclaimer, and that is whatever you hear me speak on this program, my discussants, or indeed anything discussed on this platform, they are not legal advice. Therefore, you must seek legal advice, tailor-made legal advice, before you can act on whatever you hear me speak afterwards I have spoken with you, which means the telephone number on the screen, you book an appointment to come to the office to see me. I will take a tailor-made instruction from you and give you tailor-made advice, hassle-free and affordable advice. Then you can run with my advice. You can run and implement whatever I have told you then, because I've taken detailed instruction from you and then advise you accordingly, suiting your peculiar and exclusive circumstance. Ladies and gentlemen, Law Simplified with Justice is the very best show. You know that. Take the telephone number. I always tell you this. Put it on your phone. You may need me at any time. You know that I'm an expert in immigration matters. I'm an expert in criminal matters. I'm an expert when I talk about and discuss employment matters. I'm an expert in family matters and contract and commercial matters. Therefore, it's a one-stop shop for you for litigation, advice, representation, and advocacy. I am ferocious. I am thorough. I am the best when I advocate for you in court of law, from the tribunal to the county court, whatever court you are appearing in, and all the way to the employment tribunal, to the appellate courts, and the rest of them. When I represent and draft for you, you're sure that your document is prepared in your best interest. When I review your document, you know that you've got the best reviewer to review your document with the best legal eye and to advise you on all the phrases and clauses that need to be dealt with. I will advise you and you will get and take action from there onwards. Ladies and gentlemen, I have brought you diverse topics and I continue to do so because I will emancipate you by bringing you this topic that kickstart your consciousness to law, that you take action. You don't sleep over your slumber. You may think that this telecast doesn't affect you. It does. As long as you're existing and you're on this soil, whether in this country or in the world indeed, you must tread on the law. And the law must be your watchword, which means that you must act within the preference and guidance of the law. So this telecast affects you. Everything you do here affects you. If it does immigration, you definitely is facing a criminal allegation, criminal proceedings. You may be even facing employment matters in your place of work. You are not happy with the way things are dealt with. You need to seek advice before it's too late in your employment place of work. Even if you think employment doesn't affect you, you may be entering into contract, you're buying a house or property. Whatever you think you're doing, you want your property and document to be reviewed and to be advised on the right step. You still need me for family matters and all the rest I've explained to you. The address is on the screen. Call us on the telephone and book an appointment. Let me quick tell you that you must pay a consultation fee to seek my expert legal advice. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'll be talking on immigration again. Why? Somebody say, because by popular demand, a lot of you have emailed me, spoken to me, and I can see that majority of people who need to be emancipated are in this line, in this area, immigration. And because it is a stepping stone for most of you to come up to the best you can be. Because if you're held down and pulled down by the rigorous and by the issues that surrounds and ties you in immigration matter, and even not you, it might be your brother, your sister, cousin, mom, dad that are going through this, and it's indirectly affecting you as well. Therefore, you need to sort it out. That's why by popular demand, I am discussing this immigration today. You know, I'm a solicitor of the Supreme Court of England and Wales. I am also a barrister solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Police station accredited of England and Wales, which means I will represent you at the police station in your criminal investigation and proceedings all the way to the Court of Appeal, all the way to the Crown Court, Magistrate Court, Crown Court, and the Court of Appeal, and into the Supreme Court, dealing with you in the best interest, ladies and gentlemen. And you know that. Let me introduce the topic today. The topic today is immigration I'm discussing, and the topic is deception in application. Deception in application in immigration. Deception, or rather, so we say false representation in immigration application. When you make an application in immigration, some of you don't understand that the forms that you complete are purely legal documents. But because some of you can do it, and you do that, and not minding the legal effects, not minding the long-term effects of that form you're completing. These forms are there. They will not change. They are stored by the Home Office. They could be retrieved at any time to contradict your statement, to contradict whatever you are now saying subsequently. Remember that immigration law is a journey to some of you. You journey from one limited leave to the next limited leave. From indefinite leave, you journey to naturalization. From naturalization, you now journey to completing your citizenship. It's a journey. So because it's a journey, you must make sure that as you journey along the way, you are not keeping traces that will affect you. You're not leaving traces that will disqualify you. You're not leaving traces that will completely curtail your leave to remain or revoke your leave to remain. Those of you already in the United Kingdom, or those of you applying for entry clearance, I get a call most of the time from those of you from other countries who are watching this telecast. As a matter of fact, I believe TV airs everywhere. So some of you, or more than 60 million of you, watch this view. And you want to come to the United Kingdom, or your wards, or your son, daughter, children, anything, anybody whatsoever that's connected to you are here and going through immigration issues. You want to emancipate them. You want to give them the better advice, information that will help them. And you're watching this, and you want to come over yourself from foreign countries to United Kingdom to go through the normal channel legitimately to come in here and applying the right channel to come to visit, to remain, to settle, a spouse, partner, fiancé, child, whatever it is, or parents. Whatever your circumstance, you would come into United Kingdom, even as a tourist, you want to make sure you do and you apply rightly. This matter especially goes to those of you over outside the United Kingdom, abroad, making application to visit in United Kingdom. When you do that, because your very much important concept, your important issue at that point in time, use your clearance to come to United Kingdom. In the process, you forget and you throw caution into the wind. What do I mean by throwing caution into the wind? You neglect the very ambience of the law. You neglect the very important information which you put in there because you want to quickly get a grant to come over. Some of you have come over here through somebody's name, through somebody's passport, through whatever thing means you come in. Any information you put in, you've come to the United Kingdom. What you want at that point in time is a grant. Some of you that are here want also a grant. That is fine. That is what I stand for. That is what Tice Madox Solicitors stand for, to make sure you get your leave to remain. But the most important thing there, and I must warn you about, is the input of deception, the application of deception, the application of false representation or making false representation or deception either orally or in documentary form in that application which you are about to make, you have made, you are now waiting for response. This is where the key issue comes in. You know, I told you that I am an expert because I go to the field, I see this, I argue these matters before competent judges. And some of them cases that are so bad, the judges' hands are tied. Their hands will be tied because they will not be able to assist even if I put in all the extent of the law to make sure that you get your appeal succeed, or that your application succeed in one way or the other. Because either when you're making this application, it's been terrible. Terrible application, terrible information, incoherent and inconsistent information, documentations that contradict you are inconsistent, there are ones that are even very clear that are fake documentations. I told you this because you want to come to United Kingdom. That's a good concept, ladies and gentlemen. Because when you journey around, you are you're smarter, you learn better, and also you can also achieve your potential more. But doing so in an extent that will jeopardize you, not just in the short term, in the long term, is not the best. However, you have a firm, you have me to rectify whatever issue that you have gone through, in the sense that the Home Office have been able to now dictate one way or the other a deception implied, or is deception used, or representation made one way or the other when you didn't think about it. Now, let me tell you this, because when you apply false representation or deception in application, which application succeeds, maybe you apply for renewal to your visa or to your leave to remain, and it's extended further. That does not mean that the defect or default has now been cured. No, it stays there. You are only simply extending the judgment day. And when you continue to extend the judgment day, you are the one at fix. Why? Because the wrong information is there. It only requires a caseworker who is thorough, Home Office caseworker who is thorough, or who just, if a red flag flags up in any application you make to renew and to extend, and that is now retraced back to the very foundation application you made. The correlation will be drawn, and you will see clearly that there is a contradiction, or there is a documentation that is purely out to deceive, whether in your knowledge or without your knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you that use agents, you have to be careful. I can tell you this squarely, because that needless that you will be here 2, 3, 4 years down the line with leave to remain, you're not applying for indefinite leave to remain, that has not been cut short. And whatever leave you have revoked. Now, because the provision is there in the immigration rules. Regulation 320 and 7, paragraph 7A of the immigration rules are provided for deception. Now, some of you ignore that part, as I said, because you want the application to succeed immediately, and then you make these applications. Then you are digging your grave. Tice Madox Solicitors stands to pull you out of that grave. Tice Madox Solicitors stand to make sure that you don't get buried in that grave. I stand to make sure that I put your case forward to make sure that your case succeeds. Now, it's irrelevant whether you've done it in the past. And I can tell you this. It's irrelevant whether you've done it or not. As long as your instruction is clear to me that you did not do it, as a matter of fact, whether in your knowledge or not your knowledge, I will find the technical areas of the law to argue your case. But I have to make sure that that argument stands the test of litigation. Because not every argument you can put forth there will make you look stupid when you provide and you stand before a learned judge providing an argument on matters that are baseless. I do not argue matters that are baseless, but I will turn that baseless facts into an arguable matter, of which when I package and present it before the judge, it will be pleasing and convincing that the judge will look at the error done, not by you now, but by the other party who is now alleging. Now, deception is in two ways. Deception and the legal proof for deception or false representation is in two categories. Remember that my topic today is deception in application, in immigration, of course. Now, when you make this application and you employed oral deception, documentary deception in making that application, either it is refused or that it is granted, and along the line is discovered that you made this false deception, whether by what you said, whether it is relevant to the application or irrelevant to the application you made. These are all deception that stands there. It is not wiped off, but the fact that your application has been granted, now it remains there. What do I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen? Now, deception is in two concepts. The legal proof for deception is in two ways. When I say that, I mean one is in the criminal palace and the other one in the civil palace. Now, in this case, in the immigration palace. The legal proof are not the same. When you allege deception or false representation in criminal matters, you have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. Remember, I told you I'm an expert in criminal matters. So combination of those two forces brings a very powerful exposure for me, which means I can be able to know the field, the level, and the legal proof of which they need to prove this case. Sometimes the caseworker refuses the application without understanding the legal standard of proof, of which you need to prove your case or deception. Now, you may clearly have seen that in that circumstance. The question now will be, have you got it right? The question will be, is that the right decision? Now, in the legal palace where you have these two aspects, the standard of proof for the civil and criminal, which are not the same as I explained to you earlier. Now, let's say, for instance, now in criminal palace, you've been arrested for deception of a bank fraud or fraud relating to one means or the other, either monetary or non-monetary, whatever representation you've made out there, and which turned to be criminal on its own. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this, that in that circumstance, the standard of proof by the prosecution will be beyond reasonable doubt, which means you just need to sit down and watch them tender the evidence that either will secure conviction or acquit you. In that circumstance, you may want to throw in your defense. But I'm not going into that field. Time will come when I've discussed deception in criminal palace. I'm discussing now deception or false representation in civil palace, in this case, immigration law. Now, the standard of proof is balance of probabilities. That means it is more likely than not. It is likely that this man has used deception, or it is not likely that he has used deception. Now, let me tell you this, that most of the times, most of you especially, I've dealt with so many cases of some of you coming from abroad, and you've been stopped at the airport on the basis that when you flew in and flew out of the United Kingdom, your stamp of return to your country of residence has been altered, which means that assuming you stayed 6 months, and when you return to your country of origin, it's time that you've only spent 3 months. This is a deception of its own. How do they prove that, ladies and gentlemen? I'll take a very quick short break. I'll return and I will deal with this matter in a short while. Stick it there. This is the program for you, and to kickstart your consciousness, don't change it. I remain Justice Maduforo.
Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.
Hello, welcome back to the program. I remain Justice Maduforo, your preferred solicitor and obviously preferred firm, Tice Madox Solicitors. Law Simplified with Justice stands to give you the very best, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot tell you why, from what I discussed with you before I took the short break, to let you know that the probabilities are two different ways. One is the balance probability that I mentioned to you in respect to civil proceedings, and the other one is in respect to criminal proceedings. I'm not discussing with criminal proceedings here, but strictly in immigration matters. So therefore, the legal standard proof is that of balance probabilities. Is it probable that you've done this? Is it more probable that you didn't do this? Now, obviously, they will look at your trail of your event, your trail of your immigration history, to enable them to understand what exactly you have done, whether this is deception that occurred out of innocence, a deception that occurs out of knowledge, a deception that occurred out of flagrant, deliberate act of yours, or that without knowledge. Now, as I said to you earlier on, once deception has been proved by the caseworker completing the application, then application will be refused. It must be refused, as I said, under the relevant section of immigration rules. Now, what will that be when you receive a letter? Some of you have received a letter that has been refused. Some of you are expecting the letter to come. Some of you are traveling out of the country. Some of you are sitting on a passport at the moment I speak to you now, that you know that your return tickets, your return stamps on your passport are not the same as exactly when you returned. Now, Home Office will always tell you that the airline record is different from your stamps on your passport. That is not the proof. That's not the proof that's required. On that basis, your visa, your multiple visa is even either revoked or cancelled or curtailed, and you'll be detained at the airport. Now, what is the position? Some of you have gone through that, and I've dealt with that, you know that. And I've been able to draw you out of the lion's den. I call it there because once you've been held in that circumstance, you are now in the lion's den. So you need a proper solicitor that understands the workings of the law, the technicalities of the law to bring you out. That's what I stand for. That's what Tice Madox Solicitors stand for. I will work for you thoroughly, viciously. I will stand for you. I will automatically metamorphose myself into your position and represent you in your best interest, the way you want to represent yourself, even much better. That's why this program is for you, to kickstart your consciousness to law and to take the right step. Now, the balance of probabilities, whether probable or not you did the allegation, or you committed allegation or not. Now, this is the issue. If that is found, they will refuse you. But after that not, guess what? The caseworker refuses this not because they have cogent evidence. Now, that's not the end. Even if they have the cogent evidence, they refuse you. Sometimes you have a right of appeal in country, which is in the United Kingdom while you're here. Sometimes they give you that right out country. Most of the times now, this right has come in out country, which means go and appeal it from your country of origin. Meanwhile, they've already cancelled your visa. They've already cancelled your leave to remain. They've already curtailed your leave to remain as a student on point-based system or entrepreneur, whatever visa status that you are, or status that you are, they may curtail it, revoke it, or cancel it entirely, outrightly. When that happens, and they'll give you right of appeal to appeal it when you've left the United Kingdom, that is also wrong. And some of you, because of certain factors, you can no longer want to appeal it here. You want to go. But deep in your mind, you want to contest it here. When you come to Tice Madox Solicitors and represent you, you know that you to deal with matters here is saving you quite a lot of your future difficulties. I say this because some of you, when you are confronted with fees and confronted with challenging the Home Office, you go cold feet. Some of you grow very quick cold feet. And either because of constraint in finances or execution, or that you feel guilty within yourself, and therefore you do not want to contest it. And that is because you've not sought pure and quality legal advice. If you've done so, you're able to know to challenge it. Now let me tell you, your yes you said today to guilt today affects your years to come. The guilt you admit today affects your years to come. Because human life is dynamic. Even when you've decided that I'm not coming to the United Kingdom anymore, let me go home. That's fine. That's beautiful to decide to go home to your country of origin and continue to expand your horizon there. But however, because human life is dynamic, changes, there'll be need for you to return back. One reason or the other, medical or otherwise. And even at that, even friends will be wedding here and you need to be here. Or one thing or the other has happened and your kids have grown, you want to come over here. There are so many things in the future that will face you. And why admit that fault here and then completely erase your future? Completely darken your future in terms of that. And you know that the law is not about, it's about the evidence. The law is about the evidence standard, evidence genuine, evidence accepted, evidence convincing. And therefore you do not accept that. I have dealt with countless of deception applications which the Home Office have refused on the basis that it is a deception used. And they were good to contact me through this telecast. That's why I told you this telecast is what you need. This person that contacted me didn't even watch this. Somebody passed the number over. When they contacted me, they have 5 years and then up to 10 years multiple entry visa to the United Kingdom, which is a lot to lose. And because of so many entries they've been coming here, that deception could have ended her in terms of her future career in traveling to America, any other place you go. It's not just coming to the United Kingdom, because if you make an application to go to US today, you ask whether you've been refused visa in any country, whether you've been deprived from any country, you have to say yes. And if you say no, and it's found that you're just not doing yourself good, which is why you need to serve and you need to now fight it, ladies and gentlemen. So on that basis, I took up this case. I ran with it, and this case was held in Newport Immigration First Year Tribunal in Newport. And I stood before the judge and argued the case square before the judge. And guess what? 2 weeks' time, letter received from the court means that our appeal was allowed. And therefore, the Home Office has not proved, not just proved now, because it's in the criminal palace, they have not discharged the burden. Ladies and gentlemen, what am I telling you? When you meet the solicitors that understand what they do, your matter not just become easier, becomes better. You cruise through it stresslessly. When I represent you, you will have peace of mind. You are calm because I will take you through the law. I will take you through your chances of success or no success. Let me tell you, those who achieve today are those who go the way all the way. But if you don't go all the way, you don't expect success. You don't expect victory. But you have to go all the way. Confront whatever is before you. Whatever it is finances that are depriving you, get it and come to Tice Madox Solicitors and get the better representation for your future. When I work for you, when I deal with matters of deception, I'm looking futuristic. I'm thinking that if you refuse, what are the effects on you? Adverse effects, disadvantages, demerits on you. In the present, in the future, these are issues you need to deal with. And when you come to me, I will deal with matters and you will be glad that you have a better representation, that you will not want to go to any solicitor anymore. Trust me, this is the best firm that you will get all the representation that you need. I speak with great force and great emotion because it is important, because I'm saving somebody out there. And that's the way I impute that into your work. I don't just say it here. The force and energy I exhume here is the same force I put in your application. When I go to court to argue for you and advocate for you, trust me, you will have the best advocate in court. And why don't you take advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen, and get your matters sorted? In matters in immigration, employment, contract, family, commercial, you have me there. Criminal matters, you have me. Take the number on the screen. I always tell you that I always like to talk more in this program. But because this is a very short program, it's actually meant to kickstart your consciousness. And I don't even I'm reeling out the points that need to be. This will not be exclusively passed on to you when you book an appointment to come to the office, tailor-made, relaxed environment, and no hassle, and I will take your circumstances and advise you. Ladies and gentlemen, you must book an appointment to come to my office. Those of you cannot come because you're far away, give me a call and I will tell you how we can deal with it easy for you. It's a global word, so people can always trade business and deal with things without either person inconveniencing the other. Ladies and gentlemen, and the firm is a 21st century firm that understands the movement of things and changes in the society and in terms of business and transactions. So we employ commercial sense when we represent you as well. In your commercial transactions, you engage us, we know how to put the best for you to get you result, ladies and gentlemen. We get you result. I must go for result. If a compromise agreement and I'm drafting for you, I must make sure your interest is 100% protected. Whatever thing I'm drafting for you, I must make sure that is the best for you, ladies and gentlemen. And therefore, you must take advantage of this. Today, telecast is concentrating on immigration. And when you come to my office in the areas of law that you are looking at, you are sure for me to advise you the right way that you understand. Therefore, take advantage of this telecast today and give me a call. Pass the number to whoever that needs it. Key in this telephone number on your phone. You may need it. And when you need it, ladies and gentlemen, you will be very glad that you will get a swift response, swift representation, and not just swift, better representation as well. And success guaranteed. That's what I can take on this program. My time is always up on this program. I've introduced deception here. It's a very key areas Home Office are diving into now. Cancelling people's existing visas, destroying the people's families in terms of the fact that you already have a visa, therefore you don't have any more. Simply by one mistake you made in the past, probably not a mistake, probably voluntary, probably intentional, but however, it is infinitesimal, it is minor, it is not even connected to the application, they still have to refuse. That's what the rule says. But however, because you have employed that, but you must have right to not challenge it. If it's in an appeal, if you don't have right to appeal and you're giving judicial review, or you need to go and apply for judicial review, come to me. When I draft the grounds for judicial review, you'll be glad you understand that. Copies of what I do are passed over to you, so you will clearly know what I've done. So it would not be me telling you. We'll send you clerk a letter, confirmation of instruction, so you have it written down or whatever you told me, an advice given to you. This is a 21st century firm. We understand how to represent you and make sure that everything we do for you is in black and white. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all time can permit me, but I always hope to continue. But tune in again. Anytime this program going on, this program at the moment now, at this point in time, is rolling on every day. So tune in. But however, it's not for you to just keep watching. It's for you to take action, which means take the telephone and give me a call. And I'll be glad to advise you and take your matter from there. I remain Justice Maduforo. I'm a solicitor, and that's what I can take on this program today. And I will say, tune in again. Your time has come.
Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.